We're driving from Paris down to Rafael Mahdavi's studio, which is a studio right in the middle of the iron producing part of France. And part of why he's happy down in Bourbon-Lancy is he has a huge steel dump right close to his house, and he can get all the steel he needs for his sculptures and for our collaborations. And so our collaboration that we're showing to Celeste Schenk, who's president of the American University of Paris today, is a 3-meter high sculpture that we are presenting to the American University for their 50th anniversary. Celeste hasn't seen the sculpture yet. Today's the first day that she's going to discover what she has actually accepted for her university.
So Jonathan and Rafael, I know that you have done work together before. This is not the first collaboration.
No.
So I want to know what happens when you collaborate. What's the glue between you? What's the edge between you when you work together?
We do a lot of talking.
Exactly. That's
a lot of communication.
That's a great thing, because our fields of reference are wide, and it's just not just about art and art. It's about all kinds of things. And he's read a lot, and I've read quite a bit, and so we just wander intellectually, and then things start to get connected to steel, welding, weight, moving.
Put together.
Put things together.
Do you lay things out on the floor? Do
Yeah.
you move them around? Do you work in 3D already from the beginning?
We start with maquettes. Right?
And we built a number of maquettes, very vague maquettes. And then the way it boils down to, we went to the yard and picked up about maybe half a ton of steel, brought it back, unloaded it, stacked it up in different forms around here, and then there's one frame here. There's one frame here, it goes up, right? And a second frame here.
Yeah.
So you put the things on the floor here, play with them, classical way of doing things, and then he or I weld them up. And when we have one frame pretty much done, it goes up like this. You scoot it in here like this,
That's how you got it in.
and then up, and we leave it
Hernia
here.
time is what we
Yeah, and
call
then
it.
to the second one.
And then, once we put the whole framework together, then we start thinking about safety issues. How do we keep it from moving too much? It has little elasticity, but we don't want to have it too elastic. And so these pieces down here were added on really as a safety measure, but also we thought for the university it would be nice if the students would actually come inside, sit down, they have a place to put,
Have a scotch.
Down.
they
have a beer.
put their martinis here. So we want them to really use it, and so it's not just the sculpture, but it actually becomes sort of a focal point.
We liked it, but it lacked something. And we both knew it. And a couple of weekends, we just did a bit here, a bit there, and then we hit upon this idea of these parallel lines.
Exactly.
And also the thing is that, I know of no contemporary steel sculpture that uses gold.
No.
But it seemed too obvious in Paris to use it, because it needs little upkeep if it's put on correctly, and this was. And it seemed like the perfect fit. It was just obvious.
I remember the first conversation we had about this in my office when you came and we talked about this public monumental piece of art. And we talked about the fact that students come from 100 different nationalities, and that this university experience is sort of the gateway to a global career for life for them. And also the fact that a university is a sort of place of learning. So I kind of find both of those things in this work, without it being representative. I find
wonderful.
those things in this
Well,
work.
it was about the idea of half a book, a gate.
An open book.
And-
a
Yeah,
slightly
an open book, half open book.
Yeah.
And the idea of having different elements with very different shapes forming a whole, which since I have the pleasure of teaching at AUP, I know that that's very much
What we're about.
The spirit of the university.
This is for the 50th anniversary of the university, so we're going to have a vernissage. You're going to come and speak about both of your work, and you're going to do a kind of, I think, a slide lecture. We're going to have a big event. And this is a pretty important and I think very significant, stable, powerful piece of art for our 50th year.